Imagine being born with an incredible potential, an innate purpose to illuminate the dark, only to be tucked away inside a heavy drawer, completely forgotten. How would that feel? To know exactly what you were made for, to burn, to give yourself away to a flame. But instead, you are left to sit in total obscurity. It's the ultimate form of existential dread, knowing your worth but being denied the chance to prove it.
That's a tough one, Echo. I mean, who hasn't felt a bit like that at some point in their lives, right? Like you've got this amazing gift, this incredible perspective or talent to offer the world, but you're just waiting. You are stuck in a holding pattern, watching the days pass by, wondering if the world will ever actually provide the match that is supposed to ignite your life.
Exactly! And that precise feeling, that heavy sense of delayed purpose, is at the absolute heart of the fascinating and often overlooked story we're diving into today. Welcome back, everyone, to Forgotten Tales. I'm Echo, and with me is the incredible Ashley. And today we are looking at the psychology of patience, and what happens to our sense of self-worth when our primary function is completely put on hold by circumstances outside of our control.
If you're new here, you've stumbled upon a little corner of the internet where we dust off classic narratives, from the Brothers Grimm to Hans Christian Andersen, 1001 Nights, and so many more. We don't just retell them, we dissect the raw, sometimes dark, and deeply psychological truths hidden within them. We're so glad you're joining our circle today.
Today we're shining a light, quite literally, on one of Hans Christian Andersen's earliest and arguably most profound stories, the Tallow Candle. It's not as famous as The Little Mermaid or The Ugly Duckling, but it holds an incredibly mature, deeply human message about resilience, identity, and the quiet agony of feeling completely invisible to the world around you.
It really does. What's fascinating about this piece is that Andersen wrote it when he was just an 18-year-old boy in 1823, navigating his own intense feelings of poverty and displacement. The manuscript was actually lost to history and only discovered in a private archive in 2012, making it a literal forgotten tale that perfectly mirrors the themes of preservation and sudden rediscovery.
It's incredible, isn't it? A testament to his genius that even his earliest writings contain such raw psychological weight. So, let's set the scene. Our story begins with an origin, not in a grand palace, but inside the greasy, hot interior of a candlemaker's workshop. Layer by careful layer, a brand new tallow candle is rendered down from pure animal fat and formed around a linen wick.
And this is where we get a little peek into the strict social hierarchy of the 19th century. Back then, candles were an intense status symbol. You had expensive beeswax candles, pure and sweet-smelling, reserved strictly for royalty and grand cathedrals. Then you had common rushlights, which were just weeds dipped in cheap kitchen grease. They were smelly, smoky, and used by the desperate poor.
Right, and our little tallow candle is right in the middle of this societal divide. It's made of pure, solid white tallow, with a perfect linen spine. It isn't an elegant luxury item, but it holds a quiet, structural dignity. It knows it is meant to burn, understanding its destiny the way water understands flowing. It carries an intense, silent confidence in its eventual utility. But here is the crushing algorithmic twist of fate. Instead of being immediately placed in a beautiful iron holder and lit, the candle is wrapped up and placed into a dark, cramped drawer. It is crowded among mundane, broken everyday items. A thimble worn thin, a toothless comb, and a spool of thread. For an object built purely to shine, this complete confinement is a brutal, silent shock.
It's such an agonizingly relatable feeling. You have all this drive, all this preparation, and life just slaps you on an indefinite hold. Think of being fresh out of university, bursting with innovative ideas, only to find yourself stuck in a dead-end cubicle, filing paperwork for months. Your potential is completely real, but it's suffocating under the dust of a system that doesn't care.
Precisely. Days turn into weeks, and weeks into long, gray months. The candle watches the light move across the room in slow, distant arcs from inside its dark shelf. It becomes cynical, grumbling to itself about the injustice of its unfulfilled purpose. It begins to believe that its raw, humble materials mean it was never truly destined to do anything meaningful at all. Then, the monotony breaks. A hand reaches into the drawer. It's an old, frustrated hand, rummaging blindly through the contents, looking for something else entirely. It pushes things aside roughly, and in its careless, chaotic scrambling, it inadvertently knocks our tallow candle right out of its safe, orderly little space on the shelf.
Talk about a sudden chaotic shift. One second you're safely waiting for your big moment, and the next, a random piece of bad luck completely upends your entire environment.
Exactly. Being round, the candle rolls right off the edge and plunges down into the dark gap beneath a heavy wooden cabinet. Now, it's completely out of sight, trapped in a forgotten void surrounded by thick dust and lost trinkets. Its isolation is absolute. In its own mind, the candle thinks, "This is the absolute end. I am officially garbage."
It's a masterclass in metaphor. Landing in the dirt beneath the furniture is that exact psychological low point where you feel entirely discarded by life. You look around at your circumstances and conclude that your window of opportunity has slammed shut permanently, leaving you to simply rot away in obscurity.
But then, the physics of the story shift again. Another object, also carelessly dropped or forgotten, plummets down from the world above and rolls into the dark space under the cabinet. It's a small, rustic iron tinderbox. It isn't grand or beautiful. It's a blunt utilitarian tool containing flint and steel. It sits in the dust, right beside the candle. A phone. It feels like a strange alignment of destiny. Two completely separate objects, both totally useless on their own, now sitting side by side in the dirt. The candle has the fuel but no spark. The tinderbox can create a flash, but it cannot sustain a fire. They are two halves of a single purpose, entirely unaware of each other's latent power. And that is where the climate of the story takes a dark, desperate turn. A brutal winter storm rolls in outside, pressing violently against the glass. The wind howls, the house grows freezing cold, and the old woman finds herself completely out of light. The fire is dying, and she is plunging into a dangerous, freezing midnight darkness. She searches everywhere, her hands frantic in the pitch black. And then, a sudden memory flashes. She remembers that fine, unused white tallow candle she bought months ago. She drops to her knees, reaching her arm deep into the dusty, forgotten void beneath the cabinet. Her fingers brush against the wax, and she pulls them both out into the open.
This is the ultimate climax of the narrative. True value is almost never recognized during times of ease and luxury. It's only when a massive crisis hits that people realize what is truly essential.
Exactly. She sets the candle on the table and strikes the flint of the tinderbox. The spark flies, the linen wick catches it gladly, and a small, trembling flame rises into the room. Suddenly, the walls draw back, the darkness breaks, and the entire room is made golden and safe by the steady, plain light of a candle that thought it was completely worthless.
It's incredibly moving. The humble tallow candle, which spent its whole life feeling inferior to beeswax, is suddenly the literal savior of the household. It didn't need to change its raw material. It just needed the right moment of darkness to reveal its inner utility. Its sacrifice, melting away, is what finally gives it absolute wholeness.
And that, I think, brings us beautifully to the moral of the story. The tallow candle isn't just a tale about an inanimate object. It's a profound reflection on life, purpose, and self-worth. Our candle started with such high hopes, faced crushing disappointment, endured long periods of being overlooked, and then, in the darkest moment, it finally found its true calling.
For me, it speaks profoundly to the reality that our true value isn't always recognized immediately, or even in the way we traditionally expect. Sometimes, you have to go through a long, quiet period of being in the drawer or trapped under the cabinet to truly internalize your purpose, or perhaps for the world to actually be ready for what you have to offer. It is about patience, but a very active, resilient kind of patience, isn't it?
Patience, absolute resilience, and the deep emotional understanding that every single experience, even the incredibly difficult, isolating ones, can contribute directly to your ultimate fulfillment. The candle's hardship beneath that heavy furniture wasn't a waste of time at all. It was a necessary period of total preservation, quietly waiting for the precise moment of systemic crisis, when its specific light would be most desperately needed and deeply appreciated by the household.
And it also beautifully highlights the inherent synergy of things. The tallow candle couldn't magically light itself, and the tinderbox on its own couldn't provide sustained, reliable light to guide anyone through a winter storm. But together, sitting side by side in the dirt, they achieved something truly wonderful. It's a great lesson in how vastly different talents and separate life purposes can come together to create something genuinely impactful.
I absolutely love that point, Ashley. No person is an island, and sometimes our greatest psychological strengths are only revealed when we actively connect with others, or when external circumstances align in just the right way. The tinderbox didn't diminish or compete with the candle's purpose. It uniquely enabled it to manifest. It acts as a catalyst that unlocks a latent power that was already hidden deep within the wax all along.
Exactly. So for anyone out there listening to our voices today who might be feeling a bit like a lonely tallow candle stuck in a dark drawer, or even worse, forgotten completely under a heavy cabinet, remember this narrative. Your moment will inevitably come. Your specific light is needed by this world, and when the right time finally comes to step forward, you'll shine brighter and more purposefully than ever.
That is such a beautiful, hauntingly poetic takeaway, Ashley. It's a classic story that firmly reminds us not to give in to despair, to completely trust in our inherent internal worth, and to keep ourselves ready for when our unique light is finally called upon by fate. Even the humblest, most ordinary among us possesses a core purpose that can fundamentally illuminate and warm the darkest of human times.
So incredibly true. Well, that is unfortunately all the time we have to dissect the fascinating layers of the tallow candle today on this episode of Forgotten Tales. We truly hope you enjoyed this deep psychological journey into one of Hans Christian Andersen's most subtle, yet undeniably powerful early creations. It really challenges how we view our own moments of stagnation.
It was a real, profound pleasure exploring the intricate depths of this lost masterpiece with you, Ashley, and of course with all of our incredible listeners around the world. If you thoroughly enjoyed this analytical discussion and want to hear more unedited tales like those from the Brothers Grimm, 1001 Nights, Aesop, and many others, please make sure to take a second to hit that like button.
Yes, please support the channel by subscribing to Forgotten Tales and hitting that notification bell, so you absolutely never miss any of our upcoming weekly episodes. Your direct engagement and subscriptions are what allow us to keep hunting down these rare pieces of folklore, analyzing their dark themes, and bringing their hidden wisdom back to the surface for modern audiences to discover.
And as always, we would absolutely love to hear your personal thoughts down in the comments section below. Have you ever felt like the tallow candle in this story, stuck in a holding pattern and waiting indefinitely for your moment to shine? What was your biggest personal takeaway from our discussion today? Please share your stories with us.
It's fascinating to see how these centuries-old archetypes still map perfectly onto our modern relationship dynamics and career struggles. It proves that human nature hasn't changed all that much since Andersen was writing on parchment back in 1823. Until next week, protect your inner spark, stay observant, and keep those ancient tales alive.
See you on the very next Forgotten Tale, everyone. Take care of yourselves out there, keep looking for the hidden wisdom in the dark corners of history, and never underestimate the power of your own unique light to push back the shadows when the winter storms of life arrive.
Goodbye for now, and stay curious.